So today we can continue the whole every single league that Caitlin Clark is not a part of realizes the value of Caitlin Clark, except for the leagues that Caitlin Clark is in fact a part of. We are seeing it again. We are seeing it again with the NWSL, which is now obviously, which is the soccer league that we've heard Caitlin Clark is now trying to basically become a part owner in, trying to get in with the bid for Cincinnati. And let's take a listen, let's look at what the commissioner of the league has said. The actual commissioner. Commissioner Jessica Berman of the NWSL on Caitlin Clark joining the expansion bid. Having her interest in the NWSL is an honor, and we couldn't be more excited about her sharing her story of being a multi-part athlete. We have an article here, we are looking at the Metro. Caitlin Clark as a vital part of Cincinnati's NWSL bid as league expands. Basketball Phenom's interest in soccer team ownership marks a potentially impactful crossover between two entities in sports. Banner year, obviously full story. Can't see the full thing right here. So we are going to, just going to get the full tweet. But basically, this article is about how, Cincinnati's bid, they were one of the three teams with a chance, but the commissioner has singled out Caitlin Clark being part of the bid as a reason why Cincinnati is almost viewed favorably compared to the other bids. Caitlin Clark is big. By the way, you do know how much the expansion fee is to get an expansion team in this league? I'm not joking. It is $100 million. It's $100 million. So we have got a expansion for for $100 million for a team. And the deciding factor could potentially be Caitlin Clark endorsing the team, because they realize that it's an honor for her to have interest. They realize that Caitlin Clark being an owner can help promote this team, and it can help push the league, and we're trying to grow the league, and we can almost link the NWSL with the WNBA, and the boom the WNBA is having, we can try to get some of that by getting Caitlin Clark on board. She is that much of a factor that her just being involved in a takeover, in a $100 million takeover, her just being involved, I don't know how much money she's put in, could well be $1 million. Could well be $1 million. I wouldn't be surprised if it's you know what, pay for 1%, we'll give you 5% of shares just to keep you on board, to make sure we can get this team going. But I'm not gonna lie, this one deal could probably be bigger than the Unrivaled money. But again, you're seeing it from the NWSL. They are all aboard the Caitlin Clark hype train. They're all aboard the Clark train. They're you know what? We want Caitlin Clark involved in our league. We know what Caitlin Clark can bring viewership-wise. We've seen what Caitlin Clark did to the WNBA, and we want that. Whereas the WNBA are we don't want that. It's fans, we don't want them. Packed out arenas, we don't want them. That ominous crowd in Indiana, we don't want them. They've shown that. That's what we've seen it. We've already seen it. That is something that they've said. They've as good as said it. We've seen the articles. We've seen the journalists. We've seen Aja Wilson saying she feared for her life while playing in Indiana. I'm sorry, the crowd is full of kids. And then you've got the quote-unquote face of the league. No, she's not the face of the league. The face of the league is Caitlin Clark. If Caitlin Clark was to tear her ACL and be out for a year, the face of the league next year will be Paige Beckers. If Paige Beckers was to tear her ACL again, touch wood she doesn't, and misses a year, the face of the league will be Angel Reese. If you go down about 5 faces till you actually get to Aja Wilson. But, again, can the WNBA just take notes? When you're trying to belittle Caitlin Clark, and it's give her the team. First it was the LPGA, now the NWSL, showing WNBA how to do it, or how it's done. Another league, another warm welcome. Weird how every other sports league is tying themselves to Clark, while the WNBA pretends she's just some random player. But it's assist week. Assist week. You made sure that Caitlin Clark's best assist was 9 on the season, and you also made sure that the best assist of the season, Clark to Mitchell, was 10. And then you wanted to also make sure that the number 1 assist of the season was against Caitlin Clark, so you put in a literal footage from before Caitlin Clark was in the W, when she was still at Iowa, with Victoria Vivian's getting cooked and Candace Parker being on the floor as your number 1 assist, and then you panicked and had to pick whatever assist Chelsea Gray had against Indiana, and you picked a routine pass and made that assist just so that you could have a assist from the point guard against Caitlin Clark as the number one assist. Like, pathetic. The league is pathetic. Anyone who's involved with WNBA marketing, like, I'm not going to say should be fired because I'm never going to advocate for somebody to lose their job and lose their income, but you should be moved into a position in the company where what you do for work does not show public facing. Like, you know, if you're the one that's in charge of the media and you're the one that's in charge of all that, maybe, you know, move them into like keep them with the same money, move them into like I don't know, customer service answering phones role. That what they do doesn't affect the perception of the league. Because every single person that's been involved in WNBA marketing, the chief marketing officer literally came out and said at the start of the season that their goal, well, he didn't say, he heavily implied, their goal was to use Caitlin Clark's popularity to hype up all the other players so that when Caitlin Clark inevitably gets exposed in the league, people still watch these other players. That was their goal all along. Their goal was to diminish Caitlin Clark because they thought she was not going to be good enough. Their goal was effectively to have Caitlin Clark get beat down the WNBA and other fans be like, wow, these other players are better. Let's watch the whole league. No, it doesn't work like that. You promote your players. That's what the NBA did with Michael Jordan. You promote Caitlin Clark, and it doesn't mean you promote Caitlin Clark at the expense of other players, but you don't promote other players at the expense of Caitlin Clark. You promote Caitlin Clark like she should be promoted. As in, like, you give her what she deserves. You don't steal a player of the month from her or a player of the week from her and show her footage and say, you know what, it's actually Sabrina that won player of the week. And heck, all the like bullying and hazing, that type of stuff. You suspend Kennedy Carter for just cheap shotting somebody. You do that. And you at least don't upgrade to a flagrant 1. You make it a flagrant 2. Because it was clearly a flagrant 2. It was by all definitions a flagrant 2. Like, they failed at every corner with Caitlin Clark. They've absolutely failed. Whereas you're seeing these other leagues thrive. Because you're seeing, even with the LPGA, Nelly Korda is more known to non-golf players now than she was before that Pro-Am. Obviously, one of the best players in the world at golf. She was extremely popular amongst golf fans. She is more known now because of that. It was something that Caitlin Clark is also more known to golf fans because of the situation. That is how you can grow a league. Leverage people's popularity to create like almost like rivalries. Leverage Caitlin Clark's ability and her popularity to create a healthy rivalry, not one based on fucking race that they're trying to constantly promote. Like, use it to be like, I don't know, maybe when they're playing the Aces, you can say, if you still want to call Chelsea Gray a point god, advertise it as the point god versus the new point god or something like that. But like, you can use Caitlin Clark in a way to hype up other players. And naturally, that has worked to promote Arike, to promote Fee, players that are just likable. The problem is that the vast majority of the players the WNBA want to promote aren't likable. They're not. Aja Wilson is not likable at all. I'm sorry, she's not. Like, before I became like I watched enough games that I knew what was going on in the WNBA. I knew who almost all these players were before the season started. But like, I didn't know anything about Aja Wilson. I just knew Aja Wilson a player. I'm like, baller. Like, every word that comes out of Aja Wilson's mouth, she becomes almost less likable. Oh, it's frustrating. Either way, though, NWSL, good job.